Hey guys, it's Kevin with the New Warehouse Podcast. I'm here at Modex and I am in Nokia's booth here. And we may know Nokia because of their cell phones, but actually they've just ventured into the warehouse space within the last year, and they're looking at autonomous inventory counting. And I'm joined by Paul Heitlinger, who's going to tell us all about what they're doing. And you call this solution AIMS, right? So tell us about, I guess, Nokia getting into warehousing, and also what you guys are doing in the space.
Sure. So Kevin, first of all, Nokia doesn't make cell phones anymore. We got out of that business a long time ago.
Yeah.
So today, actually, 90% of what Nokia does is telecom equipment and networking for enterprises and large businesses. But Nokia also owns Nokia Bell Labs, the storied research institution that you may have heard of. And so Bell Labs works on all these different projects with customers, POCs, pilots, that sort of stuff, but it's about testing new technologies in the market.
Right.
One of the things they were working on was doing autonomous or automatic monitoring of plant health and vertical farming operations.
Okay.
And so they did this research project and the pilot with a vertical farming company in New Jersey. And they actually went, well, you know, is this a business? Is this something we could turn into a real operation? The warehouse space is kind of it's similar. There's shelves, it's racks, drones fly around. We should focus on that. So it spun out of Bell Labs from a research project into a commercial operation. We're now focused on the warehouse space. And so basically, a drone will autonomously fly around in the warehouse, looking at all the racking, looking at each pallet location, looking at the inventory that's there. We use computer vision technologies that's developed in-house. We also have a partnership with some of our investments through NGP Capital with a company that we work with there for barcode scanning, where we take images of every bin location. We analyze what's in that pallet location, and then we report back to the customer through a UI, which we can show you in a minute. Mismatches, empty bins. We can even do things like if there's debris in the pallet, if there's no barcode detected and the WMS thinks it's empty, then we can assume there's some debris there like cardboard or plastic, stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so we work very closely with Bell Labs, so they work with us on the ML, computer vision related stuff, so we're very early stage. We launched commercially last year, so we have customers already. This year we're looking to grow. But the feature set that we're building is going to be really compelling for our customers because of that partnership with Bell Labs, and because of the computer vision, the AI, the ML, the data that we have, we can now build upon and really provide that value to customers. So stay tuned, there's a lot coming. The drone itself, we have a partnership, it's American made, it's Qualcomm processor.
Okay.
So there's no issues with...
So this is the inside of the drone, I guess.
This is the inside of the drone. So you can see all the bits, the wires, and so forth. It's all computer vision based, so we don't rely on any other equipment that's put in the warehouse for localization. The localization technology itself is developed in Bell Labs or in AIMS.
Okay.
So it looks at structures in the warehouse and we navigate around based on that. But it's pretty cool stuff.
Tell us a little bit about, kind of what does that inventory counting look like now, and I think we're going to maybe see a little bit too through a VR perspective.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Tell us a little bit about that problem and why that's such an issue and needs to be addressed.
Yeah, sure. So, especially in large warehouses where there's a lot of movement, things get lost. In fact, I've had a warehouse operator who was incredulous. It's funny. They were incredulous that things would actually get lost in a warehouse. And I'm like, you're a warehouse operator? Yeah, we don't care. We'll do a wall-to-wall count once a year. In between that, we don't really care. But a lot of other warehouse operators do care. And so what a typical warehouse will do is apply full-time people or people who are doing the picking and packing, the higher value stuff, as part of their daily chores, have to go through and do random audits and scan cycle counts throughout the warehouse based on what the WMS thinks they should be scanning, to keep track throughout the day and throughout the month and year of where stuff is. Now it's pretty low value work. It's work that nobody really wants to do. We had a customer say they had to force people to do it, and if they didn't do it, they were out. So it's really low value work, especially when there's a lot of turnover in the industry, and it's training, and it's something that warehouse it's a cost that nobody wants to do, right? And because it's a human-based activity, it can add to the compounding error rates, right? So you do cycle counting to fix the human errors in the first place, And now when you apply humans to audit the errors that humans introduced, you can compound the errors, right? So our solution will automate the whole cycle count process. So our drones will fly up and down, and not only will they scan everywhere, they'll do it much more efficiently. So if a typical warehouse could, let's say a 250,000 square foot warehouse, could cycle count through the warehouse in say 6 months.
Right.
We can do it with an autonomous drone in 3 weeks.
Oh wow.
Let's say, right?
Big improvement.
But not only, but we'll do the whole warehouse in 3 weeks, not just some ABC locations. We'll do wall to wall.
Yeah.
Right? As long as we can see a barcode or a QR code, human readable text, as long as we can see whatever it is that warehouse wants to track, we can get it. We'll apply computer vision to see it, and we'll put it into our report or UI, and then the customer can come in, the warehouse operator can come in the next day, and they can say, all right, I can see all my mismatches, I can see all my empty bin locations, I can see where there's debris, I can see all these different things that they would either have to have a human do and they would eventually find over time, or they wouldn't be able to find it all. So we have a customer, for example, that says, you know, we lose stuff, we find it 6 months later, it's not a big deal, we'd like to know where it is. We can come in now and we'll scan it and we'll say, hey, this product that your WMS thought was here, we actually found in this other location. We found it for you, right? Or the WMS might say, hey, we think there's a product here and there's not. Now it's a lost product. Right? So we'll be able to identify all this sort of stuff. So that's the problem we're solving. Basically, it's a human issue that is expensive but has to be done. And now we're coming in, we can do it much more efficiently, lower cost, very high ROI. So we try and give customers a 40% or so ROI. You know, obviously, every customer is slightly different, every warehouse operation is different, but we estimate about a 40% ROI over the term of the deal, the contract.
Yeah, and I think it's such a big help because, as you mentioned, you know, it could take maybe 6 months to count through everything in the warehouse, whereas you're compacting that down into 3 weeks. And not only is it the time savings there, right? But you mentioned before, you know, having lost material, having lost inventory somewhere in the warehouse, I mean, that could take hours, it could take days, it could take weeks to find that product. Just trying to figure out where did somebody misplace that, where did they put it in the wrong location, and so being able to do that, and you know, it cuts down not only on that time for the actual physical counting, those tasks of, you know, doing that maintenance, so to speak, right? But also the tasks of trying to find that inventory, because the drone is going out there, it's finding it. If you're counting more frequently, counting more often, you're going to be finding that inventory more frequently, and hopefully losing it less too, right?
Sure. So that's exactly right, Kevin. The other interesting thing is, depending on the sophistication of the warehouse, either they're going to spend more money on cycle counts, right? They have more FTEs, right? So the big outsourced providers who operate warehouses on behalf of the shippers, right? Who operate warehouses on behalf of a third party, generally have an SLA that says we'll provide a 99% accuracy or something like that, right? But then in return, they'll have a very high level of accuracy, but they have to spend a lot of money on FTEs and cycle counting to get that level of accuracy, right? Or a warehouse might say, you know, it's less important that we have accuracy, we want to save money, so they have a lower cost for cycle counting, but then their accuracy level is lower, so they're going to have stockouts, they're going to have customer service issues, especially if they're a shipper or 3PL, right? So what we come along and we say, you either have high costs and high accuracy, low cost, low accuracy. Hey, we're going to come and put high accuracy and lower costs, right? So depending on which type of warehouse you are, we're going to solve the cost problem and the accuracy problem.
All in one.
In one.
Makes
So we hit both of those markets.
So now you're capturing all that data as the drone's flying around, capturing this information at the each location. And then, as you mentioned, you're putting it into the UI. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the UI, and maybe we can kind of take a look here too as well.
Sure. The UI is always evolving. We're very agile. So based on, I mean, you can already see the screenshot up there versus here, it's already changed. So we're always looking at feedback from customers in terms of what they want to see, and to the point where we now have settings so they can change the filters, they can change some of the layout, whatever they want to see, because we want to make sure that this fits, you know, the particular needs of the warehouse manager.
Absolutely.
But basically, you can come in, and we've started to talk about things in terms of not just mismatches or empty bins, it's now lost inventory. Lost inventory is where there's something meant to be there, but it's not there, so it's lost, right? Or junk in a bin means that there was no barcode detected and the WMS says it's empty, but there's something there, so therefore it's junk, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
It could be cardboard, it could be plastic. And so some warehouse managers want to see when there's people aren't cleaning up their bins or their locations.
I'm a big stickler for that, so
right.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
So we can find stuff like that. Found is something that the WMS thinks that pallet location is empty, and we found a product that with a barcode there. Hey, we found this product. It wasn't meant to be there, right? And then there's misplaced, which is just the generic mismatch. Something was there. Something that's there is not meant to be there, but there was something meant to be there. And then the manager can come in and they can click on the actual image and they can see what's actually there. So they don't have to physically go to that location, get up on the scissor lift and see what's there. They can do the investigation from their desk. So I actually hear from managers that say, I don't get my steps in every day anymore, right? Because they can do all this from their desks. You can look at, we have multiple images. We pick the best one, the ones that we think the best, that give them the best view. If there's barcodes on, this one doesn't have barcodes, so we actually say that we couldn't see the barcode, but they can actually go in and see the barcode, and we print the number on the image so they can see what's physically there. Some of the really interesting stuff that the Bell Labs and the researchers have done is that we're now detecting actual physical bin locations. So we look for the barcodes, the pallet location, and we can actually segment the image and draw lines and say this is the actual location. And based on that, we actually have a lot of stuff coming later this year, which I don't want to go into just now, but is going to make this solution super compelling.
Interesting.
Involves something around the word cycle counting. We'll come back when that's released. If there was a previous scan, I can't show you now because it's test data, but it can also show you what was there before. So last time that location was scanned, we can show you the history of what's been going on in that location over time, which is something that has been pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's so fantastic because even like the visualization aspect, I know as someone that's been an inventory control manager in the past, I've had my cycle counters out there and something's just not adding up with the location. It doesn't make sense. Why are we off by this much? Like, you know, what's been happening there? And it's hard sometimes because especially it looks like that picture that you were showing, I mean, it's like at the top, right, of the rack. And it's like, oh, do I really have to go jump on there and like on a forklift, get up there and see it for myself to see what's going on? But now you can have that image and capture that. And I think it gives you so much better and much more streamlined to be able to resolve those issues and kind of have that issue resolution overall.
Exactly. So like I said, we continue to listen to customer feedback, so we're making the UI better over time. One of the updates we have coming soon is we're going to have a 2D representation of the shelves. So right now it's just a list. So we hear from, we also see what other people are doing. So having a more visual representation of the data I think is beneficial. And then, like I said, there's always new updates coming, so that'll continue to be improved. But that's it at the basic level.
Nice, very good, very good. And then I think too we have kind of a VR demo as well here. So can we try that out?
Now the idea is you have 60 seconds to scan as many boxes as you can. There's 18 in total, so see if you can get all 18. Okay. So as soon as you hit start, it's going to start scanning.
All right.
Okay, ready? Go. And there's 3 per level. I might have to get closer. You can always look at the tablet to see how much time you got.
Not enough.
Come on, you got this. How much time's left? 5 seconds. You got 15.
15.
All right, so now the drone's going to do it. Let's see how the drone compares to your time.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow, it's so much faster than me.
All right, so if you look at the tablet, you did 15 in 60 seconds. The drone did 18 in I can't see behind the.
In 16 seconds. Wow. Crushed
so the
me.
drawing in a minute will tell you how much faster the drawing was. 467% more efficient.
Wow. Really interested to see how you guys continue to develop this and what's coming in the future with that little tease that you gave us earlier. So, Paul, if people are interested in learning more about what you're doing with this AIM solution and Nokia, what's the best way to do that?
Right. So the best way is to contact me. So it's going to be a long name, Paul.Heitlinger, Heitlinger @Nokia.com. Or your best solution, your best bet is just to Google Nokia AIMS, and then the first hit that comes up will be the website. You can contact us through the website.
All right, great. And we'll also put that in the show notes and description as well, so you can easily find it. So definitely check out Nokia and their AIM solution. So Paul, thank you very much for showing me around the booth
Kevin,
today.